Good morning everybody and welcome to the Friday morning warm-up, and today we're going to be looking at the major pentatonic scale, and it will be in the key of F major, concert F major. So that will be G for the B flat instruments and D for the alto instruments. So concert F major is the primary key. And but of course, before we get started on that, we will do a little warm-up on the clapping side of things, and just going to go back over what we did last week, which was a Boogaloo rhythm. It's the rhythm which sometimes is played on the snare drum by the kit drummer in 1960s Boogaloo music, jazz music, a form of jazz. It happens to also be a reverse of the bossa nova clave. When I say reverse, you don't literally play it backwards, you just play the second bar first, followed by the first bar, and then repeat all that. I'm sure I've said this hundreds of times and you do know it, but this is what's called a 2-3 clave, because there are 2 beats in the first bar, 3 in the second bar, and if it was a bossa nova clave, it would be the other way around, 3-2. Strictly speaking, in bossa nova music, they don't call it a clave, they just call it a drum pattern. But that's good enough for us. Righty ho, let's just clap that. And as you can see, it's I've shown the beats below. I do occasionally come across people who say they don't do numbers, they don't do the counting side of it, but it certainly can help if you know what beats you're actually playing or clapping on. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So if you just do a constant count with the ands in between, you'll get that rhythm more easily. But anyway, let's just play it just for a minute. After 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Last time. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Bang. Good. And as I mentioned last week, the Sidewinder by Lee Morgan, very popular jazz tune, actually got into the charts, and it's a good example. You'll hear the snare drum playing this particular rhythmic pattern, and it really drives the music along. So okay, let's move on there from the clapping to if you like to pick up your instrument, unless it's a Hammond organ. And I don't think we've got any Hammond organs with us today, but I did chat with somebody who played one the other day. Very interesting. Right. And we will look at, we'll just get the instrument a little bit more warmed up. So F, concert F. So just for a minute, I'm just going to play that note, and if you want to play that note as well, please do, or a harmony of it, or sing it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was my attempt at singing the major pentatonic scale. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax. Sorry, it's not a relaxation thing, is it? Feels like it though. Right, okay, let's just move on now to the chromatic scale. You'll be getting very good at these chromatic scales. So we're going to start on concert F and all the way up to the octave and down again. And okay, here we go. If you're ready with your instruments on concert F, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope it's going well so far. Let's just speed that up a little bit, and here we go again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit faster. I hear you say faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just do one really quick one to finish off. Don't feel dispirited if you find it too fast. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. As the chromatic scale is certainly easier on some instruments than others. And there we go. Righty-ho. The chromatic scale. Okay, moving on now. So if you'd like to get hold of your instrument exercise sheets, as I say, we're in the key of F major, but we're looking at what's called the major pentatonic scale. We did it in E last time, I think. And so we're going for a bit more of a straightforward key today in terms of numbers of flats and sharps. And the most significant thing about the major pentatonic scale is, of course, well, it's two things. One is it's pentatonic, it's 5 notes. So whereas the normal major scales and minor scales are heptatonic, they've got 7 notes. This is a pentatonic scale, it's got 5 notes. And the particular notes it has are taken from the major scale, but exclude, if you want to think of it this way, the 4th and the 7th. So it doesn't have that 7th in there in the scale itself, although the chords can still have these notes in them if it's a particular song. But in the actual scale itself, it doesn't have a 7th and it doesn't have the 4th. In improvised music, the 4th is a bit of an unpleasant note to play in a bit of improvisation, for example, because it clashes with the 3rd that's in the chord itself. Say, for example, you're just improvising over a F major chord. The F major will have an A in the chord, the 3rd, major 3rd, and the scale, the major scale has a 4th in it, which is a B flat, and then that is very close to the A and could clash in the if you happen to play it. The major pentatonic scale doesn't have that, so it makes it a little bit more of an easier scale to use when improvising if you want to avoid that clash. In fact, the 4th is often known as the avoid note, a note to avoid when improvising over a chord. Okay, so it hasn't got the 4th and the 7th, so what it has got then, of course, is the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, da da da, and the 5th and the 6th. And that's what I was trying to sing when I was playing those notes earlier. If you were to play all those notes at the same time, you do actually have a chord. You have a chord known as C69. So I know some of you, Terry, for example, would have played C69 in a jazz tune, and the C69 chord actually has just the notes of the major pentatonic scale. So just a little something there. Right, let's play those first two bars. So we're going to play the first two bars on the sheet, which is the major pentatonic scale, going up and coming down again. Okay, so let's just do those first two bars. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Got a very particular sound, hasn't it? Quite an open sound because there are no adjacent semitones either. All the notes are either a tone or a tone and a half apart. 2, 3, 4. One more time. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's going up and down the scale. Let's do the bars 3 and 4 on the top line then. So this is, as you can see, coming down the scale and going back up. So just the reverse of the last one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got quite a bright and airy sort of sound as well, hasn't it? It's very important to pick up the actual feeling of a scale as well as just the fact that it's a collection of notes. So let's do it again. 2, 3, 4. And might bring to mind various sort of folk songs as well. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Let's just go on to the second line now. So really this is just a little exercise to help cement the notes that are in the scale, just to get more familiar with them. I mean, if this is particularly straightforward because you've played it lots of times before, just think about playing an octave higher or an octave lower, and one of the reasons for doing that is to get into the to obtain the skill of being able to transpose immediately if you are sight reading, for example. Sometimes a piece of music you're given and the tune is fine, you can play that tune, but I actually want to play it an octave higher, and it can affect the muscle memory and so on, but being able to transpose on with sight reading is a good skill to have. Okay, so we're doing the second line, which is just working its way up the scale in groups of 3. I think you'll see and hear the pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Do it a little bit faster. A little bit faster. Here we go. Same second line. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Yeah, I just noticed the misspelling there. It's not a pentatonic scale, it's a pentatonic scale. Right, onto the third line. So this is just the same kind of exercise, but descending. So third line now. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's getting familiar with the actual notes in the scale and working our way up and down the notes. So, but do think of them in terms of the intervals of the scale as well, the first, the second, the third, the fifth and the sixth. And if you've got an instrument such as a piano or a guitar, it's good to be able to learn to sing it. And I mean, this is important in all music, of course. If you're playing an instrument, that the idea being what's in your head, you're trying to get to come out of your instrument, rather than just literally take it off the page and process it and play that note. If you can actually, and the more you sing scales and recognise them orally as well, the better chance you've got of actually just being able to play what you hear, rather than having to read it as well. So both skills are good though. Now, if you looked at the sheet earlier, we'd have said, oh, he's put a tune in here, Auld Lang Syne. Yes, an awful lot of tunes, Amazing Grace and so on, are written using a pentatonic scale, major pentatonic scale. It's very common. And there are actually quite a lot of instruments out there which are only capable of playing the major pentatonic scale. They've only got 5 notes. There are a lot of, I don't know if you know the balafon, it's kind of a xylophone, a West African xylophone, and although you can get proper heptatonic ones or even ones with all 12 notes, you do get a lot of, you can buy 5-note balafons as well as other instruments, as I say. So it's a kind of a xylophone instrument, so you would have to play pentatonic tunes on it, you can't play anything else. So here's an example of a pentatonic melody. So we're going to play the whole tune. It's actually 9 bars with the pickup at the beginning, so we're going to start on that single note pickup. Now many of you will find this very straightforward to play, so don't think of it just as I've just got to play those notes. If you're at a point where I'm just about able to read that, I'll just be able to play that, then obviously do your best to actually play the correct notes. But if you're finding it straightforward, go to the next level and actually start putting in some expression, some dynamics, some ups and downs in your playing and so on, and just give it a little bit more feeling, more of a performance, shall we say? Because don't forget, the written music is not really just to be. It's not the aim is to play it. It's actually just a starting point, after which you then perform the music. So, okay, I'm doing a lot of talking today to make up for those missing notes in the scale. Okay, we're going to play Auld Lang Syne then. So just at a slow pace, and I'm going to count those 1, 2, 3 beats of that rest in that first bar, and you're going to come in on beat 4, back crotchet there on concert C. What you will notice before we set off, the rhythm of the vast majority of the bars, certainly in this version, is the same. Da 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 da. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So if you see that, that's going to help towards getting the correct rhythm of the song. Here we go. After 3, then straight into the tune. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Good. All might be the first go for you playing this, and we are nearer to next New Year than last New Year now, so maybe this is something to learn. Remember when I did a Zoom session on my trumpet trying to play this? I do say trying in that instance. And okay, let's do that again. So maybe this is a tune to learn and get into your bag of tricks. After 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll do it one more time. We'll do it a little bit quicker. Little bit of advice I was given once is if you're learning a tune, learn it so you can play it comfortably about 10 to 15% faster than it's actually going to be performed. And then when you come to actually perform it, well, remember to go back to the correct speed. It will be a lot more comfortable than if you're always learning it at the edge of the upper limit of your speed. So I'm just going to learn it 10% faster. Let's do that. After 3, 1. Oops, that's a lot faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Good, good. Right. Okay. Well, that's just an example of a tune which is written using the major pentatonic scale. And as I say, there are plenty of other ones. I think Amazing Grace is one as well, another very well-known tune, of course. Okay, let's just move on to the last line now, and we're just going to look at some examples of riffs in this case, repeated sequences, which use the major pentatonic scale. I know I've mentioned this first one before, the riff from My Girl by the Temptations, hit in the 60s, and I like this one because it actually just plays the major pentatonic scale from the root note up to the octave, and it's a good way of, if you recognize it, then you know you're listening to the major pentatonic scale. So it's kind of gives you a good idea of what it sounds like, and makes it easier to recognize when it's played by somebody else. So we're going to play that first bar on the bottom line. Let's go after 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. Let's do that again. Actually, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. That's quite rapid. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's repeat it now, and that will be even more similar to the record. After 4, repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. That was 2 more times. Brass players and wind players, please do remember to take a breath. Okay, let's move on to the second bar on the bottom line, and this is more of an exercise really. It's just the same riff, but it's descending. So just for the sake of exercise, it's not a particular recording or tune. So second line, second bar, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, just for guitarists, that 5 tab ought to be a 0 and open on the string above, so like it is in the first bar. Okay, let's just do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's repeat that now. So we're repeating the second bar after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Okay, that's the Michael riff descending version. And finally, a bit of rock and roll. And in the 1950s, of course, there are all those hit records by people like Little Richard and Chuck Berry and the like. And the guitars and also definitely the bass players often played a bass line a little bit like this one, certainly rhythmically like this one, which went up and down the pentatonic scale. It actually leaves out the second, but that's just a detail. And you will recognise it when you hear it. So we're just going to play the next 2 bars, the last 2 bars on the sheet, as a very typical sounding rock and roll pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. Let's do that again. Started on the wrong string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure you recognise that. If it's too much puffing going on, I'll just do 1 note on each beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And piano players might like to do it down an octave, just so that it sounds a little bit more like the bass line. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's repeat that now. Okay, so we're after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. One more time. Finish on the root note, just to resolve it. And there you have a little bit of rock and roll. Okay, that's just some examples of the major pentatonic scale. Again, you can always, if you can get to a piano and just play the black keys, if you were to start on F sharp, okay, the black note F sharp, and just play up the black keys, you are playing a major pentatonic scale. So that's just a way of sort of finding one quickly. Up the black keys, starting on F sharp, you are actually playing F sharp major pentatonic. So right, let's move on. Just to finish off the session, then we're going to go and do the usual chord strummy thing. Now these chords are actually the chords for Auld Lang Syne, so if you wanted to play Auld Lang Syne over these chords, that will work. If you just want to improvise or make up some tunes based on the major pentatonic scale, then by all means do. But I'm just going to play this as if I was accompanying somebody playing Auld Lang Syne. And just to explain, where it says G minor hyphen C7, that's a kind of split bar. So whereas the rest are all 1 bar per chord, that's just 2 beats on the G minor, 2 beats on the C7, just to make it an 8 bar Peace. Here we go. After 4. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, if you want to start Old Lang Syne, just start on beat 4 after 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And again. Last time, all the way through. Here we go. And dum ba dum 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 ba da da dun 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 Good. And that concludes our session today. Okay, thank you very much everybody for coming along as always. I won't be here next week, going away like quite a lot of people to get away from the heat. No doubt going to rain where I'm going. So nice to see you all.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, and just unmute yourself if you want to.
Thank you, Dave.
And yeah. See you in 2 weeks' time then.
Yeah, thanks, David.
Weeks' time.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Have a good break.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Enjoy the weekend,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Yeah, Dave,
Yes.
I've got a very quick question.
Oh,
In
yeah.
that chord you were talking about, C69,
Yes.
why is that not called C26? Why is it
Good
9
question.
and not 2?
It's a convention. It should be C26 technically, because if
Yeah.
it's C9, that implies the 7th should be in there,
Yeah.
but it's not. And this is an example where the nomenclature goes to pot. You're quite right. It should be C26. Very good point. But just convention has taken over, and we call it C69. But you don't tend to put the 7th in.
Ah.
So it's
Okay.
just the CEG plus the 6 plus the 9.
Plus, right.
The A and the D.
Okay. So it's still a bit of a mystery to me.
No, that's just See, chord symbols are just somebody made them up. That's not a.
Goes to prove my point that whenever anything is set in music, the next question unsets it.
True.
Every time.
Right.
Things, as soon as you think you've got it, someone says, "Oh yes." But.